Do you ever see a successful woman on your feed or in a magazine and think, wow, it must be nice to have it so easy? Well, think again. Behind that glossy cover or smiling face is a ton of hard work, countless failures, and endless learning experiences. I'm Rebecca Minkoff, and I'm here to tell you that success isn't a walk in the park. It takes grit, resilience, and a willingness to take risks. That's why I created Superwomen, a podcast that peels back the varnish and gets into the nitty-gritty of what it takes to make it as a woman in today's world. From luminaries and game changers to women you've never heard of but should, this podcast is here to inspire you to take your next leap, no matter how daunting it may seem. We'll explore the sacrifices these women have made, the highs and lows they've experienced, and the lessons they've learned along the way. So if you're ready to be inspired and learn from some of the most successful women out there, join me on Superwomen. Together, we'll uncover the stories behind the successes and prove that with hard work, determination, and a little bit of luck, anything is possible. Hey everyone, you're listening to Superwomen. Today's guests are the co-founders and owners of the incredible restaurant Raff's, named after Raffi Nicole's sweet daughter. My guests today are Jennifer and Nicole Vitagliano. They are two incredible powerhouse entrepreneurs forging their way in a very male-dominated and competitive restaurant industry. We talk about the grit it takes to succeed, the down and dirty work they've had to do, and the exciting future ahead for them. Take a listen. So I had to twist your arm into doing this. You volunteered your sister as tribute originally.
I was doing it alone.
Yes, you were going to be a lone star. And then we also had a little friend in someone's ear that also maybe convinced you to do this.
Yes.
Maybe. So I am incredibly in awe of what you both have done and built. I'm a big fan of your restaurant. I would love to start in the beginning. Have you always loved feeding women, people, food, and or being in hospitality? I shouldn't have said feeding women, but that's all I'm talking about right now.
Yeah, we have always loved kind of the reason why I've always been in the restaurant business. Nicole was in fashion in a previous life. But our family's always kind of centered around food and entertaining, and I got into the restaurant business like 16 or 17 years ago.
You look too young.
Thank you. With the idea of entertaining in dinner parties and bringing people together and being a restaurateur. And that's what I get to do now.
How did you start? You just said, I want to have a restaurant?
I started by developing restaurants for other people.
Okay.
Taking someone else's idea. You know, everyone has the best idea in the world. Taking their idea, turning it into a business plan, business model, helping them raise money, putting together a project team, developing that property, and then handing over a restaurant for someone else to operate. I've only grown into an operator probably in the last 6 years out of necessity. And I've only probably become successful in my career after putting my team together, bringing on my sister, bringing on Mary, bringing on Kamari, and kind of redefining what our ecosystem looks like.
And what was the conversation like when you said, "Hey, sis"?
Quit
your day job.
There was no conversation. There was no conversation. It happened really organically, and it happened out of necessity and out of being twins and having no boundaries and, just needing to be there for her. I guess it really kicked in during COVID.
Yeah.
We were outside building the structure and painting the structure by ourselves early days, and then
pandemic pivots.
Well, sorry. So we had the Duchess together. Going back a little bit further, Musket Room was very successful early on. They received a Michelin star after, I think, 4 months. And 3 months, excuse me. And the garden was a big driver, and I had the idea to open a farm, take that further and open a farm. And I kind of did that myself and where got Jen's attention once it was a real thing.
Where was the farm?
Oh, in Rhinebeck.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's in Valley, yeah.
We miss it a lot.
I'm sure.
But it was, that was also an amazing learning experience. I think we might go back to that one day, going back to, Jen started in ingredients and before restaurants. And that was a big thing for us, for our daughter to see, my daughter, to share, to see her food source and, grow our own product. And then we were going to have a pipeline from New York City to the Hudson Valley. And it was all very altruistic, beautiful, romantic vision. And then in practice, it was still great, but costly. We needed to focus on the meat and focus on our flagships in New York City.
Yeah, I think it was our first working experience together, and it was a bonding experience. Not like we needed to be any closer, but it showed us that we could work together. And then when we would go back to New York and started refocusing on Musket Room. And especially when the pandemic hit, I think it was just like a natural partnership, obviously. Nicole's really been like driving me creatively to do things on my own for the past, 6 or 7 years now, where I was happy to like be in the background and be running other people's restaurants and opening concepts for other people. And I think, building my team and working with my sister gave me the confidence to do something on our own. And Raf's is really the first restaurant, the first concept that's truly like ours. Like it's our vision, it's our design, it's our team. We're running it day to day. So it's
sure are.
Yeah. So it's really exciting that this is the one that's kind of like that's kind of hit it big and is kind of has legs and is doing more things and will continue to grow that brand.
So for those listening, I have heard from friends in the industry, this is an incredibly tough industry. It is cutthroat. It's male dominated. So clearly you've been able to break through and find success. But I'd love to hear from each of you what some of those tough moments have been.
Well, I think that's right. It is still male dominated. And I feel, having watched Jen for about a decade before getting properly involved, and I've watched male counterparts in the industry get dozens of great opportunities to our, every few. Not to say we haven't had opportunities and we've been very selective, but, just to see their growth and we were a bit more measured about it and Jen was a bit more measured about it. And then, like she said, we finally had the confidence to make the next step, and having it be so close to us and be close to every detail, it really felt right. And we felt like we had something special, and we kind of knew immediately we were going to love it and our friends were going to love it. And we thought everyone else would love it too. So, and I think that's why it is successful. And we knew it. We knew it would be. But yeah, no, it's tough. It's sort of not thankless, but it's not the most painless or lucrative job running a fine dining restaurant. And Jen did that for a lot of years in Musket Room and still is doing it. So then to open another sort of fine dining restaurant was not the most sexy proposition, but we do have a lot of fun there and it is very successful. We see ways to scale it.
Yeah, I think the challenge for me was, having that role of like being behind the scenes and being in the background and mainly working for men and executing other people's visions. It was scary for me to like go out on my own and, to be kind of at the top, like to be the ultimate decision maker and driving force behind the concept. I love it now. I'm kind of driven by that, by the idea of, everything kind of landing on my shoulders. Which is only because I have this confidence in my team behind me. And, Mary and Kamari and Nicole, I always say that like we all would have been successful in our careers at some point. I think just coming together and redefining our relationship and our kind of dynamic and creating that safe space for all of us just immediately like propelled us to success.
When you first started making those decisions, were you sort of like I remember when we sold our company and day one without my co-founder, I was like, wait, it's just me? And I was like looking for him and he wasn't there. So I'm curious if you had that moment.
I was kind of in a place where I was already making those decisions. I was just like not making them with any sort of clarity. I was making them with like other people involved. It really, like, for me, just started with like an idea that seemed so crazy at the time. It was just like someone mentioned to me, and we were sitting in Musket Room, we were closed during the pandemic, and they were like, what if you made this an even better restaurant than it was before COVID? Like, what if you opened and you were even more successful than you were the first,
exactly what happened. 5 or 6 years, whatever it was. And I was like, oh my God, let's try to do that. It seems so crazy, but...
And you did that during COVID when it was probably fucking bleak, right?
Jane's also, by the way, had a lot of confidence her whole life, so...
Well, yes, I've always had a lot of confidence, but sometimes, in the past, not having a partner that you feel like is a true partner, or a team that you feel like is your forever team, you could question yourself in your decision making and your communication and all of those things. Nicole really is the ideas person. She was like, we're very successful on this block. I know you don't, there's so many opportunities out there that I'm not interested in, that I wouldn't pursue because they don't align with our vision, or I don't connect to it. But Nicole's point was like, hey, we're so successful on this block. Like the pandemic was very successful for us. It did. I can say that now, but
I want to hear.
Brought together, what is now our forever team. We kind of had the time and space to like figure out what we wanted to do and who we were as leaders. We didn't, set out to bring together a female team, but I think that was a big part of it, is that we found this team that we were so comfortable with. Like we're so comfortable around each other.
And that we wanted to give opportunities too.
Yeah. I mean, to the point where we're constantly resetting boundaries, like every
Telling
day.
each other how we want to be communicated with.
Talking about it.
I think that's important.
No, we do. So we have to remind each other, like, hey, it's my day off. I don't want you to text me about work.
Right.
Or like, I would rather this be in an email. We're very open about communication.
Yeah. Memes at like 10, 11 o'clock at night are fine.
Yeah, but not work talk.
Yeah. And don't text me anything vague. Don't tell me like, hey, I need to talk to you tomorrow.
Ooh, those are the worst. That's like a mystery
They're
sandwich.
crazy.
You're like, no, we're going to talk now. I'm losing sleep.
But so, having my sister really driving me creatively, she's like really a counterpoint to me because I get so weighed down sometimes in like the business, like financial decisions.
I didn't know she appreciated me
Which
this much.
we're
thanks for
moving
having
past.
us on.
You know what? You can just play this segment of the podcast whenever you feel unappreciated and be like, yeah, she loves me.
We're never going to listen to this. I'm just
not hearing my voice.
But so we started Rafts because we wanted to create opportunities for our team
that was loyal
on the block.
The
it felt like a
pandemic,
good quality of life. Like we didn't want to go uptown or to Brooklyn. Like we were just getting settled into our routine again. But we were like,
it was quite serendipitous. Once again, I got her to pay attention. Similar to the
I
Duchess.
tuned in.
We the many dilemmas during COVID was, how are we going to compete with everyone else doing takeout, and who wants to come to a Michelin-starred restaurant for a 3-course tasting via DoorDash or Caviar? That was the dilemma.
Who were great partners, by the way.
Great partners. Thank you, guys. But so then we wound up, I got in touch with an old friend from upstate, from the Hudson Valley, rather, not truly upstate if you're from upstate. But she was another female that saved us. She gave us her milk truck that we then turned into a food truck, and we started making Musket Room more approachable. I think we called it MR all day.
Yeah.
And we brought Kamari on board. She did biscuits, and Mary did her amazing miso maple sausage. We did breakfast sandwiches. We did donuts. We did things that we'd never done before, and it was a huge success.
Yeah, it was kind of like a billboard for a restaurant. We just parked it outside and sold baked goods and
very hard to drive and park, by the way, every day. We got really scrappy with it. And then around the time we were bringing indoor dining back indoors, and we couldn't really do 100% indoors plus outdoor, and certainly not with the food truck. The bakery became available up the road, and we wanted to keep that all day. We wanted to keep that pastry. Of course, Kamari was more than just a pastry chef. She's an amazing baker. And that's when I got her to pay attention.
Yeah.
But ironically
it was also
enough,
kind of just like a romantic idea. I mean, the bakery's been there. Our space has been a bakery for 100 years. It's been a Sicilian bakery for 100 years, which is part of our family heritage. And we're very close, to the block. We've been on the block for 11 years now. There's a butcher shop on the block that's also like 100 years old that our friend Jen owns. So we were kind of just obsessed with the idea of having like a butcher and a baker on the block, something like so romantic that every block in the neighborhood used to have, or probably every block in New York. So bringing that back to life was really like romantic to us.
So you talked about boundaries and personal, and this is an all-encompassing industry. It is nonstop, especially, I'm assuming, nighttime. You have a daughter. We have a daughter.
We have a daughter.
How have you managed to either just say, this is what it is, and you sign up for it, or say, no, we're going to design this differently? Or maybe different answers for both of you.
Relationship?
No, just like, you could be working all the time.
Yeah.
Working nights, weekends.
We do. I think we are very honest. Like we all, I say, take turns freaking out.
we're never all chill on one day.
Like we check each other. Like everyone, including people I don't even know right now, are asking me like what I'm going to do for myself. Like what's something that I'm going to do for myself, that doesn't include the restaurant or, traveling for work or something like that. Like, I think
we're taking Rafi to Disney.
Yeah, or doing something for Rafi, all of which I love. But we all have our moments, and we're like incredibly, I think, gracious with each other in those moments and allow each other to have those moments. And then we acknowledge, like, okay, so how are you really going to address that? Like, what's going on with you? Like, I think, again, like creating this safe space, we just check each other constantly and check up on each other, and extend like so much grace to each other. It's incredible, like, to have people who you feel like truly have your back.
It's incredible that you can have that knowing how high stress your situation is.
Well, I mean, a big part of us is like, everyone check your emotions at the door. This is a job, but in practice, it doesn't ever work out. And, I think...
Well, it's a job to some people, but it's your life's work.
It's a job, but at the same time, like, if people don't believe in us and they're not rooting for us, like, we could never trust that our vision is being executed every day when we're not there. And we're not there every night. We like to be there at night because that's kind of the fun part, watching people enjoy it. I mean, we've created a place where everyone wants to come and no one wants to leave.
It's cool. I mean,
it's like Cheers.
For breakfast
it's so much fun.
We have people coming multiple times a day. We have people that their wives are like, hey, did you see my husband? I think he just got back from Israel. And like, they're there with their suitcase for breakfast,
my gosh.
Like, there's people that, and then we'll come in for dinner that same day.
Yeah.
And that's really wonderful to see. We actually learn to love the suitcases because we're either their first or last meal in New York, and that's flattering. But there are definitely days and nights where I'm with Rafi all the time. I will stop working at 2. Like, I'm going to drop her off, go right to work, go pick her up, and then, inevitably fall asleep putting her to sleep most nights, and then go back to work, either physically or on my laptop. There are those days, a lot of them. But then, there are those days where I'm at work and I meet an amazing person and a wonderful partnership or event or something comes out of that. And we really appreciate that.
Yeah. I think the people who work for us teach us a lot as well. Like, the younger generation.
They sure do teach us a lot.
They,
tell me what they've taught you, please. I'm not anti. I'm just curious.
They value their days off and their personal time and their travel.
Can say not say.
They prioritize themselves, which is great. Which is not to say they don't care about our business. They wouldn't be working for us if they didn't, because we hire for culture first. But it's really like checked us a little bit. We're like,
burnout culture is not
why
cool.
are our employees like in Europe all summer and we're like doing construction projects, and we're obviously we're building our business. It's a bit of a different thing, but we all kind of inspire each other in different ways. And
I think I'm older than you both, but I feel like we're the last generation that has that work. Like, we got to work. You know what I mean? Like,
maybe
versus
so.
the next.
We're just trying to retire.
Yeah, I feel you.
I told Rafi the other day I was working so hard so I can retire. And she's like, I'm going to be 10 by the time that happens. I was like, sweetie, I hope so.
So
that would be great. She's 6.5, by the way. So.
Oh my gosh. So 3.5 more years. You got it in the bag.
I can't wait.
We can handle that.
So you celebrated your 1-year anniversary last week. Thank you for the invitation. I was home with 4 children with chickenpox.
We have a hat set aside for you, don't worry.
Oh, good. I was literally like looking
coveted.
at 4 infected humans that looked like they were had scabies. But anyways, they had chickenpox, like the real chickenpox. All 4. So I didn't make it. But you have exciting things in works. Can you share?
We do. So we are still, I think the Musket Room is better than it's ever been right now. We're super proud of that. We're, hoping to get our 12th Michelin star this year. Both of our chefs, Mary Attia and Kamari Mick, are nominated for James Beard Awards again this year for the 3rd time, which we're so proud of.
Cheers.
Raf's just turned 1, and we have plans to kind of grow that brand. And then for me, it's really exciting. We're kind of, as we scale up our business, we have 100 employees, 2 restaurants. We have another huge project in development. I'm restructuring the business so that I can finally play restaurateur. So taking the financial and the development risk off of my back so I can just focus on operations and executing our visions.
You mean you're not going to be helping me screw on new toilet seats anymore?
we have someone for
Isn't that
now.
so like, but let's go there for a second. Like everyone thinks it's glamorous and you're clearly like
I
in the
always say
finance
it's
and
also
operations.
glamorous.
You're screwing in toilets. I'm changing in a hotel
Well, it's
lobby.
just because like we're doers. I would rather just do something and get it done than ask someone to do it and then ask them again or like say, can you let me know when that's done? I just would rather limit the conversation. Sometimes I want to get things done.
Yeah.
And it's not that I really have to, but maybe that's a
I
personality.
have a story of one of our opening parties when I tied up my gowns to fill the rat holes. I tied my gown at the bottom to fill some rat holes.
What do you mean you tied your gown at the bottom?
I just took my gown, I tied it up in a knot, and I filled the rat holes.
And
What gown? Like a gown?
Oh,
was
like
like a
so,
gown,
like
like
you
for-
tied it up so it didn't get dirty.
Yeah,
You didn't
yeah.
like stuff it in a hole.
I thought that's what she
I
was
was like,
saying.
then what were you wearing?
I tied the bottom of my dress in a knot so I could fill the rat holes, and then there was also the flood night.
Let's
where I
not
was-
call them rat holes. So you're just
fine.
like assuming they're
Okay,
rat
fine.
holes.
So I will say that I tied up my gown. There was a flood in the restaurant. I went in late night at Raf. So I went in late night and I found a flood in the restaurant. So I tied my gown. I went to the water valve. I shut the water valve off. I like turned the espresso machine off. I got all of the supplies ready, and then I couldn't figure out how to use the mop bucket. Like,
Of all the things.
literally, I just kept knocking it over every time I tried to like wring it out. So I had to like go get help.
I wasn't there.
It
Was I there? I was
and
at Tom
then there was
Jerry's next
and
door.
then like there was the taking out the trash and the Chanel. Like there's been a lot of moments.
I mean,
where we're just
we've
like,
gotten really scrappy.
is this
They
real
told us
life?
our restaurant couldn't open for 6 months to a year, and I was like, that's very funny. Like, what if we did this? What if we did that? And these guys just kept shutting me down. From our contractor to Con Ed, everyone said it was impossible, and I don't take no for an answer. And I found a way. We wound up contacting one of our friends at SNL. I don't know how this idea came to me, but we contacted a friend at SNL, and I said, how do you get power to your offsite filming locations? And he was like, oh, this generator company. They come in a Sprinter van with a giant generator. And I was like, that's what we're going to do. We're going to park a Sprinter van out front. And that powered our restaurant for months.
We ran our restaurant on
Months. And, you know, we didn't have gas, but we cooked on, you know, we called Breville. I mean, thank you, Breville. We got the best induction burners we could get. And cooked on induction. Like, no one knows that. We didn't have AC.
And used our ovens.
We
I
had
think
reviewers
everyone
coming in.
remembers we didn't have AC.
Who's everyone? Oh,
Anyone
our
who's
regulars will
that
remember.
first summer.
Thanks, guys, for sticking it out with us. I mean, yeah, our New York Times reviewer came in. We didn't have air conditioning or gas.
And they never knew.
Well, I don't know.
I don't know. It was all,
Now-
it was all
now it's
part
out of
of
the bag.
It was all part of the organized
Yeah,
chaos.
we wanted it to be authentic and very old world cafe. So there you go. It's like you're in Europe.
We have
and
100
There's no
in the
AC.
building. It's going to be hot.
Yeah, that's what you say, right?
Yeah.
So one thing I ask all my guests on the podcast is, what would we be surprised to know about you? It could be a quirk, a habit.
A quirk.
I'm scared of sharks and lakes, you know, that kind of thing.
We
Or it
don't
could
like
be-
scary things. Neither of us. We don't like murder.
We don't go skiing.
Listens to murder.
We don't
Why
go
don't you
on
go
roller
skiing?
coasters.
So you have enough stress in life.
We
You're
are
like, I'm going to be by a
risk
beach with
and
my
fear
margarita.
averse. Yeah.
Averse. Yeah. We don't like scary movies.
Did you say no roller coasters?
No roller coasters.
Okay.
It's all unnecessary stress. Like, you
Jet
don't need
ski?
those cortisol spikes.
Never liked fireworks. Not for the environmental issues, but just for the noise.
Okay.
Yeah, and for the environmental
We're
issues.
very sensitive to loud noise. I know it's funny to have like a crazy banging restaurant, but
It is pretty loud in there, isn't it?
yeah.
Do you find it loud?
No, I find it great. I still go back to that night. I spent 6 hours there when I should have been there for 2. And
It
I
was
was
incredible.
right, but I
loved
didn't want to
that
leave.
night. I would find you in different
I
locations.
know. We
in
just
the
kept moving
restaurant.
around. We're like, we're not leaving. We're gonna have 5 margaritas, which we will regret tomorrow.
I love
Did
that.
you regret it?
Yeah, big time. Big time. No, it's fine. I did it to myself.
No, the community of people that we've built around this restaurant really gives us a lot of confidence in what we do. Like,
But it's also the energy that you frankly bring to it. Like I hadn't felt that way in a really fucking long time. I feel like I don't even know the last restaurant I felt that way in. So
cool.
yeah,
Thank you.
yes, and
But
this
that's
is
also
the
why
one.
we think Raf's has legs, and it won't be a flash in the pan, just a hot restaurant. It will be like a Balthazar or Lucien. Like, it will be around for a while and become, hopefully, a New York mainstay.
That would be needed.
Because our people really like it, and I feel like they're going to keep liking it, and it's going to keep being their cheers.
Yeah, and our people, like our community, is basically anyone who walks in the door that's nice and is there for the right
Most of our neighbors love us.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the new project that we're working on, which I feel like fits in perfectly with kind of the community and the excitement we've created around Rafts, is a hotel members club and public restaurant in Union Square, which is near.
Holy shit.
Yeah, we
That's
both live in
huge.
Gramercy. And we remember when Union Square like was kind of just a place where you would go and you would meet up, and we spend a ton of time at the market, as do most people.
Love that market
in the hospitality industry or chefs. Some were very like dear to our heart, and it's got a beautiful history. So we're really excited to be in this area and to be working on this project. It's a massive project. It's a group that we feel very aligned with.
It's not a Marriott, let's just say that.
In terms of
I would think
it's not a huge group.
Does it scare you to do something so big?
No, I think we're going into this project with more support than we've ever had.
I told you, Jen has plenty of confidence. She's not scared.
I'm not.
Are you scared?
Scared.
I'm not scared yet. No, I'm not. I'm wondering if it'll kick in. It's been like really easy thus far because it's not like how we opened rafts. We're not going to be staining the floors ourselves and like getting scrappy. Like we really have support now. We've built.
We have like amazing family support and support from our investors and our team. Like everyone is just so excited for us. And
we should thank mom and dad in case mom figures out how to listen to the podcast.
You're going to download it on Apple or Spotify
for her.
Yeah.
Yes,
they're all rooting for us. We have like an incredible support system that like just has no doubt that we can nail this massive project. We've never done anything at this scale.
I think that you should bottle your confidence and sell it.
Oh my god, I should figure out how
it's
to do that.
It's a great quality. I mean,
Thank
you come off as highly competent too.
Thank you.
Yes.
No, Jen
really
is
sweet.
in a league of her own.
I like Kat's sister.
I mean, I'm like that too. I ask my friends and my family for their opinion, and then I'll just go with mine anyway.
Yeah.
And everyone knows that about me. Like, I value my own opinion over anyone else's.
Well, thank
and
God.
not in an arrogant way.
It's about time we all start doing that.
I go
Look
with
at
my
where it's
gut.
gotten us. I mean, like we have all of these people believing that we can execute this project, and we've never done anything close to
kind of
there you go.
No, it's kind of crazy. It's kind of like 4 projects in one. There's 3 food and beverage spaces plus in-room dining, so we're calling it like 4 projects.
So excited for in-room dining.
We're so excited for in-room dining.
Thank God, in-room dining
Because
really
who
fucking
doesn't love
sucks.
in-room dining?
I want to love it, except I always get like a cold hamburger.
Oh, what's your club sandwich and fries?
What's your dream item?
A really nice, delicious like hamburger with some French fries.
Gluten-free bun for you, right?
Gluten-free bun, yeah.
Remember that.
It's already on the list.
The gluten.
It's already on the menu.
Yeah, we were going to bring you pastries this morning, and then a little birdie reminded me.
Oh, well, I have my glutaxin with me, so I'm going to be indulging tomorrow night in lots of gluten.
We have gluten-free pasta now.
Yes. We do? Yeah. We make it ourselves?
It's called Rumo.
I'm not ordering it then. I'm just going to go full gluten.
Okay.
Oh,
it's very good.
Okay, so either advice you've been given or want to pass on that you know is good advice.
I can take this one.
Yeah, someone I look up to in the restaurant industry recently told me when I was deciding to do this new project that, you know, when confronted with an opportunity, you should always ask yourself, is this something that I really want to do, or am I doing it because I think I should?
I like that.
Yeah. I did too.
Which was it?
I have something that I think I should do that I don't totally want to do, but I'm doing it anyway.
I know what you're talking about.
I think things are. I don't know what you're talking about.
We'll tell you after.
I think that we're in a really, privileged position, being able to choose projects that we want to do because they're something that we want to do and not something that we have to do. So I feel very lucky to be in that position.
You worked your ass off to get there, girl.
I have.
It's not luck.
And I feel like, you'll never be criticized for not doing something, but if you do something that doesn't align with your values or your vision, it could danger your reputation. So I guess decision making at this stage is kind of scary, but going into it with all the confidence in the world, right?
Yes. Here she goes.
I mean, honestly.
Sailing away. Thank you.
Thank you.
For being on here. Thank you for bringing nightlife back in a way that I say nightlife, not like the club.
Well, more on
wait
that
until
soon.
September.
I mean, I have ideas about September I'm going to talk to you about later.
Okay. Thank you so much. This is fun.
Thanks, babe. I just wanted to thank you guys for listening to today's episode. I also want to ask you to rate and review the show wherever you listen to podcasts. I know it's a pain in the butt, but it actually helps with search and algorithms. So if you love this podcast, it is an easy way to get it more visible and out there. I also want you to follow me on Instagram at Rebecca Minkoff, at RM Superwomen, and be sure to check out my book, Fearless, The New Rules for Unlocking Creativity, Courage, and Success. Thank you again, and you will hear from me next week.